Opposition leader Dr. Denzil Douglas on Wednesday night called on the Prime Minister to announce a date for the elections. Dr. Douglas, speaking in a live social media broadcast after Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris would have announced the dissolution of Parliament, chided Dr. Harris for announcing Parliament was dissolved a day later.
I find it absolutely disgraceful, despicable, and downright disrespectful that Dr. Harris would make his broadcast at 7 p.m. on Wednesday evening, more than 24 hours after he claimed that the dissolution became effective. This kind of sneaky and reckless behavior raises the question in the psyche of the nation. What else is Harris hiding?
He said the announcement has been long overdue as the 5-year deadline since the last general elections has been passed since February 15, 2020. He accused the government of mismanaging the public health crisis compounded by the economic fallout expected from the COVID-19 pandemic. All this, he said, brings into serious perspective the vital need for a date for the election to be announced as soon as possible following the dissolution of Parliament.
This COVID-19 imperative, it brings into serious perspective that vital need for a date for the election to be announced as soon as possible following the dissolution of our Parliament. That is why our people have been disappointed, very, very disappointed, for only knowing that the Parliament has dissolved, though belatedly. Setting a date for the election as early as possible is absolutely vital in order for the relevant authorities to effectively plan for an election day scenario that makes it possible for all registered citizens to exercise their franchise and for the voting process to be conducted in keeping with the social distancing and sanitization protocols required by this particular crisis. Best practices around the world testify that in order to ensure that elections are conducted in a manner that is free, fair, and inclusive of all voters, whether they are quarantined or not, whether they are sick or not, a national plan of action must be put in place as far as possible in advance of what is to be that day. To delay the setting of a date for the election is to put lives at risk and to erect barriers to the exercise of the democratic rights of the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis.
The former Prime Minister said the Next Gen SKN Labour Party has been preparing itself over the last 5 years for this time. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.